afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We have a very dangerous situation occurring near Collinsville and Bassett this afternoon, where a multi-car accident is seriously hampering traffic. If you're trying to head 220 north either to Bassett or trying to take 220 north, the exit that would take you to Roanoke, you need to be aware of this accident. They're working diligently to try to clear this up, but for folks who are going to be heading in this direction, I just want you to try to find an alternate route for the time being. Now, this was at least a two-car collision, although technically it would be three cars involved. Now, everybody knows that if you're heading into Collinsville and you're coming in from Bassett and Stanleytown there on Virginia Avenue, and folks want to cut over to Reed Creek or try to go from Reed Creek on to 220 north, you know how dangerous that can be. Now, to narrow this down for you, this accident happened just adjacent to the Nelson Kia dealership, just before you would get to the 220 north exit going to Roanoke. Now, one car tried to make it across, did not quite make it. Now, that car was following a large white truck. Now, the truck made it across safely, but the other car thought it could make it as well, and it did not, resulting in a two-car collision. I know this may sound somewhat silly to some of you, but one of the scary things here was this little puppy was actually in one of the cars that was involved in the collision. The gray car that you see here, it looks like either a Crown Victoria or a larger late model sedan, four-door. Anyway, the dog we know was inside the car at the time of the collision. And while the owner is still being treated and evaluated before being transported to Memorial Hospital of Martinsville in Henry County, the dog was also being evaluated there at the scene, but appeared to be okay. Just to give you a good idea of where exactly this accident occurred, because they also took out this road sign. There you can see one of the cars involved in the accident as well. Now, this collision was tremendous, spinning the cars 180 degrees, ripping off both bumpers, and spreading debris across the road. Now, the fire department has responded to the scene. The Henry County Sheriff's Office was there remarkably quickly. They were actually able to help divert the traffic. And this poor dog here is so worried about its owner. You can hear it barking and just being very concerned as they continue to evaluate the driver of the gray car. But there it gives you a good indication of just how strong this collision is. Now, it's going to take a little while for the investigation. The Virginia State Police are going to be on the scene. They're going to have to tow these vehicles off. We'll tell you that Nelson Towing was there on the scene almost immediately as well. But of course, they have to allow the state police to go through their investigative steps. Henry County Department of Public Safety was also on the scene today, there to help and assist with the injured individuals. But again, this multi-car collision occurring on Virginia Avenue, listed as 4708 Virginia Avenue. This would be if you were leaving Collinsville heading towards Stanleytown and Bassett. It would be there just in front of the Kia, the Nelson Kia dealership, and very close to the turn for Reed Creek. And that was where the accident actually occurred. Now, there was a lot of liquid spilling from these engines, so the fire department was there putting down the quick dry. There wasn't a threat of fire, thankfully, but you can see this collision strong enough to knock the bumpers off of the cars in whole. And again, this little pup here, God love him, was inside that gray car at the time of the collision, and you could tell he was a little agitated as well. But we do understand that a family member was called to the scene and did take the dog away, so he'll be evaluated. And we know of at least 2 injuries related to this accident. We're going to continue to investigate this and hopefully be able to bring you some more details later on tonight. But just be aware, folks, if you are heading from Collinsville towards Bassett or Stanleytown and you're planning on taking either the 220 north exit to go up to Roanoke, or if you're going to go ahead and drive towards Bassett Country Club, you may continue to see a bit of a traffic hang-up this afternoon. Certainly Friday, a very heavy traffic day in this area. The traffic was backed up for about a mile going all the way up to Jan's Dutch Boy. That's where the slowdown began, and then it began to back all the way up to the CVS there in Collinsville as the traffic definitely had to slow down. Emergency vehicles having a tough time making it through. But again, I tell you, man's best friend, that dog was diligently staying there and very concerned about who was touching his master. Tell you what. very sad situation. We'll continue to keep you updated. Stay tuned to BTW 21.